All right, today we're on a mission. We're going to solve a puzzle that pretty much every aspiring ethical hacker runs into. How in the world do you build the perfect virtual lab to practice your skills? It's a huge question, so let's put on our detective hats and start digging for some clues. So what is the secret? Is there one magic piece of software? Some kind of secret configuration? Well, that's the big question we're tackling today. And we're going to piece together the answer by analyzing some very specific and, I think you'll find, very interesting evidence.
You know, our whole investigation really boils down to three little digital breadcrumbs. Now, on the surface, they just look like links to documentation for different software. But trust me, hidden inside them are the three core pillars of any great pen testing lab. Let's see what they had to tell us.
Okay, clue number one. This one comes from the world of VirtualBox, and it points us straight to the most fundamental piece of this entire puzzle, the network. And we're not just talking about getting online here. This is all about creating a safe, controlled digital playground for all your experiments.
So the key concept we need to grasp is the isolated virtual network. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital sandbox. All your virtual machines, they can talk to each other inside this box. But, and this is the important part, they can't touch your main computer or the wider internet. When you're deliberately playing with vulnerable systems, this isn't just a nice feature to have, it is an absolute necessity for safety.
Right, so this isolation is what lets you do everything that makes a lab actually useful. You can launch exploits and not have to worry that they're going to escape and cause some real damage. You can build these little mini corporate networks with a bunch of different machines. This lets you practice real-world stuff, like man-in-the-middle attacks or pivoting through a network. And you can see how all these vulnerable systems talk to each other, just like they would in a real company.
Let's move on to our second clue. This one comes from VMware's documentation, and it reveals a feature that is, for all intents and purposes, a virtual time machine. It's basically the ultimate undo button for your entire lab.
And the clue itself is so simple, it's almost hidden in plain sight. It's right there in the label of the source link, the word snapshot. This one little word describes one of the most powerful tools you can have when you're learning. It is the absolute key to fearless experimentation.
And this little cycle just perfectly illustrates the magic. So, you set up your target machine exactly how you want it. That's your clean base state. Then you take a snapshot, which basically freezes that machine in time. Then you just go wild. You can throw every exploit you have at it, detonate some ransomware, crash the entire operating system, it does not matter. Because with one click, you hit revert and boom, your machine is instantly back to that perfect, clean state, ready for you to go again. No reinstalling, no cleanup, just reset and go.
All right, time for our third and final clue. This one's from the Proxmox guide. Now, this clue isn't about what's happening inside the virtual machines, but how you control all of them from the outside. It is all about administration.
What this clue reveals are two totally different ways of thinking about this. First, you've got desktop hypervisors like VirtualBox or VMware Workstation. They run just like any other app on your main computer. It's simple, it's direct, and it's perfect if you're just managing a handful of machines. But then you have the server hypervisors like Proxmox. Now this is a whole dedicated operating system that you install on a separate computer, and then you manage your entire lab from a web browser. This is for when you want to build a more permanent, more powerful, always-on environment.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Neither one is better than the other. The real question you have to ask is, what are your goals? Are you looking for the simplicity of just running a few virtual machines on your laptop for a quick exercise? Or are you trying to build a complex, persistent cyber range that you can access from anywhere? The right control panel is the one that fits your ambition.
Okay, so we've examined all the clues. We have networking for safety, snapshots for repetition, and administration for control. Now let's assemble all this evidence and finally reveal the secret to the perfect pen testing lab.
And here it is, the whole case laid out. Our investigation uncovered three absolutely essential features. First, flexible networking, which our VirtualBox clue highlighted, is just crucial for safety and for creating realistic attack scenarios. Second, state snapshots, which we got from our VMware clue, give you that time machine, so you can instantly reset and retry anything. And third, clear administration, which our Proxmox clue pointed out, makes sure you can manage your lab efficiently, whether it's just one machine or a whole farm of them.
So, we've cracked the code. The secret to the perfect pen testing lab isn't a brand name. It's not about choosing VirtualBox versus VMware versus Proxmox.
The best tool is simply the one that gives you powerful and easy-to-use versions of these three core capabilities: networking, snapshots, and administration. Understanding these requirements, that's the real secret.
So now, the investigation is in your hands. You've seen the evidence, you know the fundamental principles. The only question left is, what amazing, complex, and challenging practice lab are you going to go out and build with this knowledge?